In this video, you're going to see how to make this beautiful stained glass cake with royal icing and piping gel. If you haven't already done so, subscribe and ring the bell. And if you're new here, click the join button to check out my new membership. So this is in collaboration with 5 other bakers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 other bakers. And at the end of this video, we're going to have a playlist.
British Girl Bakes.
Man Cake.
5 to Baker.
The Robin's Nest.
Flour, eggs, and yeast.
Yes. Pumpkins and leaves and...
That's adorable.
So let's see what yours is.
I did mashed potatoes and gravy. Looks like a 3rd grader did it.
So let us know what you think of Scott's mashed potatoes. Stained glass.
Well, my real mashed potatoes are fantastic. Stained glass, not so much.
And what do you think of my pumpkin?
That's awesome.
The link to my piping gel recipe is below in the description box. This cake is part of a 3-part series. The first part was making the French buttercream, the second part was baking the cake, and this part is the decorating part. Now I covered my cake in French buttercream in the previous video, and now I'm covering it with an Italian meringue buttercream because I want it to be a little more white. The French buttercream tends to be yellow because it's made with yolks instead of whites. Frosting a square cake is a little tricky, and I will have a video for that as well soon on my channel. In the meantime, I know that Emily of British Girl Bakes has a really great tutorial over on her channel. Sketch out your design first on paper, that really helps. And this is royal icing. That's a tip number 3 and a piping cone. Now if you need the royal icing recipe, I will also leave that link underneath my video. You can mark your cake first with a toothpick or a sharp object, and you can also use a ruler. I wanted to create a frame around the pumpkins, much like a real stained glass window. Now I began piping and then realized it was too thick and I needed a smaller tip. So I didn't have any patience to wait for the royal icing to dry, so I just kind of scraped off the little bit of royal icing that was on there. And then I used a paper towel, so you can do that if you have to. I mean, it's better if you can wait till it dries, but I didn't have any patience for that. And then just trace, I'm doing freehand, but you can always draw it on there first and then trace it. This is actually how fast I was going. So this is why I speed this up, because it would take forever if I kept it at the normal speed. I also highly recommend the Wilton turning table. It really helps a lot in situations like this. I have it propped up on books as well because I needed it to be eye level. So you really want to try to get your cakes at eye level when you're decorating. And if you can tilt it a little bit, that really helps to create the lines a little better. And this is Scott's mashed potatoes. Very unique design. I gave Scott his own side of the cake and just let him do whatever, and he had a lot of fun. Uh-oh. As you can see, he didn't know how to hold it properly, and he really didn't want me to tell him what to do. So, whoops. And now for the gel. So I have some gel here that I colored orange. And a few tips about the gel. When you're coloring the gel, make sure that you just use a tiny bit of color because it really grabs onto it. And then when you place it inside the lines, just be careful that you don't go over the lines, and using a tool you can kind of move it around a little bit. You can also use a paintbrush dipped in a little bit of water. You also want to make sure that you don't put it on too thick. Here's an example of putting too much color in the gel. This was supposed to be green and it looks more like black. I went back and I made a yellowy green, which I liked a lot more for this cake. These paper piping cones make it really nice because you can make little ones and fill them with tiny amounts of color. Now, to make these, I have a tutorial for you, so you can go check that out. I'll leave a link for you under the video. And also, you don't need to use a piping tip. What you do is just snip off a little bit of the end, and that creates a little hole for you so you can pipe the gel out of it. These are great because they're disposable and you can make a whole bunch of them and just fill them with different colors.
That's awesome.
Are you done?
No.
Phew, that was a lot of work. That was not fun.
You promised me it would be fun.
I know. I really need a beer.
Here you go, sweet.
Oh, thank you.
Cheers.
You had one? Cheers.
Cheers.
So we hope you enjoyed this collaboration, and also we collaborated because Scott did one side of the cake and I did the other side of the cake, right? So it's a collaboration.
Don't bring that up.
It's a collaboration.
Oh boy.
A collaboration within a collaboration.
Yeah, I collaborated all right.
So make sure you guys go check out the other 5 bakers, amazing cake decorators.
And all you cake decorators who are terrible, just look at mine and feel better. This is what my gift. It's terrible.
Let us know in the comments below what you think of Scott's design.
Terrible.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.